there! Welcome to CJ's Keto Kitchen. I'm Sarah. Today we're going to be making a family favorite, pizza. Yay! Pizza. And it's going to be Fathead pizza, which is a famous traditional ketogenic low-carb pizza. Come along with me and let's make some pizza. So to begin, we need a cup and a half of shredded mozzarella cheese. And to that, we are going to add 1.5 tablespoons of cream cheese. And I've already slightly softened it in the microwave, but we're going to mix these together and microwave it anyway. But it does help to make it a little soft to begin with. So we are going to microwave this several times at 30-second intervals to make sure everything melts. It's going to be very hot, so I suggest using a glass bowl or something that is microwave safe because we're going to be microwaving it a couple of times. Okay, so that took about 1.5 minutes, and you'll see the consistency is quite fluid. Now we're going to add our almond flour. And that is 1.5 cups of almond flour. And to my almond flour, I have added some salt, some garlic, and a little bit of pizza seasoning. You can add whatever seasonings you like, but this is a good opportunity to get some flavor into your pizza dough. So I'm going to add that. We also need to add 1 egg, but I prefer to do the flour first, because generally we need to keep heating the Fathead in the microwave at about 30-second intervals because the cheese hardens quite quickly and we want to keep a nice soft dough. And it's better to do it before you add the egg, because if you try and do it after you add the egg, you have the possibility of scrambled eggs, and we don't want that. Okay, I have made it as pliant as possible, and now I'm going to add the egg as the final step for the dough. And the dough is quite hot, so the egg should incorporate well. And we're going to turn it on to parchment covered cookie sheet. And then we're going to work it to form the pizza dough. And I definitely recommend parchment as what you want to use. And parchment can tend to be expensive, so I usually look for mine at the dollar store. So we're going to take our dough, and it's still going to be a little warm. And you're going to want to wet your hands. That helps to work the dough, is damp hands. And remember, it's fairly warm because we've microwaved it quite a bit. So be careful. But you do want to try and work it while you can. Before it starts to become non-compliant. So try and spread it out as best you can into the shape that you would like. I usually go for a rectangle because it's easier, in my opinion, than trying to form a circle, but it's personal preference. Just keep working it until you have the general shape that you would like. And now we are going to bake this at 425 for about 8 to 10 minutes. And of course that varies based on your oven, because everyone's oven is different. So I'm going to put this in the oven and we'll see you back in about 10 minutes. So this is what it looks like after about 12 minutes for my stove, my oven. Now, the next step that I'm going to do is completely optional, but I like to take the crust and flip it over. So what I do is take a separate piece of parchment paper, and then I take this piece off. And put down a fresh piece of paper, and be careful because the cookie sheet is hot. And I take this one and flip it over. So then when we put it back in the oven, the other side will get equally brown, because I like a crisp crust. Like I said, that's a completely optional step. But now I'm going to place this back in the oven, and it won't need to go in for very long because it's already cooked on the underside. So I'd say set your timer for about 4 minutes and take a look at it then, and you want it to be nicely brown like the other side. So we'll see you in a second. So now that it's nicely browned on both sides, we are going to put our toppings on, and we're going to start with pizza sauce. And I'm going to be using the Great Value pizza sauce, which is Walmart's brand, and it is the lowest carb pizza sauce that I have found in my journeys so far. So that's just an FYI, and because we're making a low carb pizza, ketogenic pizza, we would like the lowest carb pizza sauce possible. So I'm going to put the pizza sauce down first, and then we'll do our toppings. And how much sauce you use is completely up to personal choice and how your family likes it. Some people like their pizza saucy and some people don't. And you could also use a Alfredo type sauce. They're usually very low in carbs. If you're wanting to do something that has a white sauce instead of a red sauce, that's totally awesome too. So now we've got our pizza sauce down. I'm going to use some cheese. And I'm going to use the same mozzarella cheese that we used to make it. I usually just buy a giant bag because then you can make your crust and toppings. So I like to put some cheese down first before I put toppings on, and then we'll top with some more cheese because let's face it, it's all about the cheese. And for our pizza tonight, I've chosen Italian sausage, which I fried up previously. So I'm going to sprinkle that on first. Trying to make it as even as possible so that every piece has toppings on it. Okay. Now we are going to do some pepperoni. And any kind of pepperoni will work. I'm using Armour brand tonight.
And this is the tedious part, of course.
And for our pizza tonight, I have cut up some vegetables. And I'm going to be putting a few green peppers and some mushrooms, and then I also have some sliced olives. Now we're going to top with some more cheese. And I'm going to start out with some mozzarella. And then as a personal preference, I like to add a little bit of pizza blend that has some other cheeses like cheddar, just to give it a little pizzazz. But you can use whatever cheese you'd like, whatever cheese you like on your pizza. And just kind of press everything on. And then we're going to pop it back into our oven that's still hot from when we made the crust. And I will show you what everything looks like when it's all ready to eat. See you back in a few minutes. So here's our finished product, Fathead Pizza. It looks delicious and I'm ready to dig in. Thanks for joining us today on CJ's Keto Kitchen. Come on back next time and make another meal with us. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you are notified when we upload new content. Thanks very much. We'll see you next time.